you how to make Harry Potter Golden Snitch cake pops, because we're massive geeks. The very first step in making these cake pops is actually to make the wings that stick out on the side, and you're going to need to do this 24 hours in advance. Now the reason for this is because the wings are actually made out of fondant, and fondant takes about 24 hours to dry. So that's how you get them to stand up on their own like that without sort of flopping over. To make the wings, you're going to need some fondant icing that you could buy from most supermarkets. So just take a piece of the fondant icing and roll it out on an icing sugar covered work surface. Once you've rolled out the icing, all you need to do is simply cut out the shape of a wing. What I did, because I'm not very artistic, is that I googled pictures of wings and just traced the outline of it and cut it out from that. So when you cut out the wings, all you need to do is, before you leave it out to dry, is paint it with some edible gold paint. It's quite easy to get hold of this, you can get it from most craft shops, but if you can't find any, I'll put a link below to the website that I bought mine from. Okay, so leave your painted wings out to dry for 24 hours and then you can get on with making the rest. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need to do is get some sponge cake. You can buy it or make it or whatever, it doesn't really matter. And crumble it up with your hands until you get cake crumbs. Right, so the next step is to take some buttercream icing, can be any colour or flavour that you like. I've just made some plain vanilla flavour. And you're going to add the buttercream gradually to your cake crumbs until it forms like a dough-like consistency. Okay, so you start mixing the icing in with a spatula or a spoon, but eventually you're going to have to get your hands dirty and kind of smush it together. So when you have like a dough-like consistency, what you're going to need to start to do is break off little pieces and roll it up into a ball shape. Like that. Right, so when you're done rolling the dough into little ball shapes, you're going to want to put them on a baking sheet or a plate, but make sure you put baking parchment on there first, just to make sure they don't stick. Now it's time to put the lollipop sticks into the cake pops. In order to make sure they stick, you're going to want to use some sort of sticking agent. I have melted a whole packet of candy melts. You can use like white chocolate or dark chocolate, whatever you like. And so what you need to do is take your lollipop stick, dip it in the melted chocolate or candy melts. Make sure you get quite a bit on there. And then you're going to want to stick it in the middle of one of your cake pops. When you have lollipop sticks in all of your cake pops, you're going to want to put them in the freezer for about an hour and a half. When your cake pops are out of the freezer, this is probably the most critical point in making these things. You're going to need to remelt your candy melts or your white chocolate. You need to have some polystyrene or some styrofoam ready to stick the cake pops in to dry. And you're also going to need the wings you made earlier. Right, the first step is to take one of the cake pops and make an incision in it where you're going to want to put the wings. Okay, so once you've made the incisions into the cake pop, you're going to want to dip it inside the candy melts or the melted chocolate until it's completely covered. I find it quite difficult, so I have a palette knife ready as well so that I can smooth it out. So just dip it in. Okay, so once the cake pop is covered, you're going to want to place it in the polystyrene or styrofoam blocked so that it can dry in a stable place. I want to quickly insert the wings. You should have something that looks like this, and you can see it's beginning to look more like the Golden Snitch. What I'm going to do is to paint the ball of the Golden Snitch cake pop in the same edible golden paint that you used to paint the wings. Okay, so just make sure you're very gentle with this because obviously they are quite unstable. Can't get hold of any edible golden paint, there is actually another way you can do this. If you keep the fondant wings white and just use some yellow candy melts for the centre, for the ball shape, that will pretty much give you a snitch effect as well. Also, if you can't get hold of a polystyrene block, I know it can be hard, you can use your imagination for other things to prop your cake pops up with. My old university flatmates will tell you that when I first made cake pops, I used to stick them in potatoes. So you can pretty much use anything that keeps them stable. Okay, so when you're done painting, you should have something that looks like this. Your very own golden snitch Harry Potter cake pop. Right, let me just figure out how we're going to put these in the freezer.
Is this all that smells of chocolate I can just eat?
No!